Since our country's independence, Ghana's diplomacy under successive administration has been guided by the principles of non-alignment, mutual respect, and peaceful coexistence. This enduring posture has enabled successive governments to engage credibly with all sides in situations of conflict, while preserving Ghana's role as a respected and impartial voice of peace, dialogue, and rule of law. By describing the events in Gaza in absolute terms and aligning the country explicitly with one side in a highly polarized conflict, the government risks compromising the delicate balance that has long safeguarded Ghana's credibility as an impartial actor on the international stage. Our tradition has been to call for peace, dialogue, and adherence to international law without issuing declarations that may prejudice our ability to play a mediating or bridge-building role. Successive governments have, over decades, interpreted and applied these principles by maintaining a posture of independence and impartiality in international conflicts. It is therefore crucial, ladies and gentlemen of the press, that in responding to this conflict, Ghana's official statements continue along this tradition, speaking clearly to the need for peace, the protection of civilians, and adherence to international law, by doing so in a manner that avoids the perception of taking sides in a very deeply divisive conflict. The Minority Caucus wishes to emphasize that Ghana's enduring strength in international relations has always come from its ability to maintain independence, neutrality, and credibility, even when global powers have sought to draw us into their competing blocs. Departures from this tradition, if not checked, could diminish our moral authority on the international stage and compromise our wider national interests. We therefore call on the government to exercise caution and be consistent in articulating Ghana's foreign policy positions, particularly on sensitive international conflicts, such as the Gaza conflict. The government must ensure that Ghana's position reflects our long-standing commitment to non-alignment, multilateralism, and principled diplomacy, rather than hasty or unilateral declarations. Calm, measured, and nuanced diplomacy is essential for the conduct of our foreign policy in general and for addressing volatile situations such as the current conflict in particular. As members of Parliament, we take this opportunity to reaffirm our commitment to defending the sovereignty of our nation, upholding the Constitution, and preserving Ghana's hard-earned reputation as a principled and respected actor on the international stage, and will therefore be unrelentless in holding the government accountable in the conduct of our nation's foreign policy. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member of Parliament and the ranking for Foreign Affairs. The Honourable Member is willing to take 3 questions. So please, if you have any, if you do not, then we would have to call it a day. But if you have any questions, please let us see by hand those who just GH1. GH1.
Yeah, it's off. It's off. Mine is off. Oh, but you can speak.
We can hear you, or because it's being carried. It's come.
Oh. Leader and ranking, 2 quick things. First of all, the minister related to the MOU, as you mentioned, and his argument is that contrary to what has been determined at the court, because it's an MOU, even though at the point we had a note verbal that became the subject of controversy at the court, this one doesn't require ratification of Parliament. You indicated, and he rightly mentioned, that we are expecting over 40 more deportees. First of all, what do you make of the fact that, regardless of the fact that these individuals were in court, nonetheless, as a country, we deported them? And I'm talking about the 11 who have so far been deported. And again, from now till Parliament returns, what action will you take? And is there any action that you can take to ensure that there's that respect of the Constitution, as you mentioned? And finally, the United Nations General Assembly is ongoing in the US. You and your ranking are here, your deputy are here. Why? Why is that the case?
Please. Yes, thank you very much. I don't know, honorable member, would you want to have all the questions?
Yeah, let me answer this.
Okay, very well. You can say.
Yeah, so thank you very much, GH1. The first point is that it should be interesting to see the opinion of the Attorney General, if it was given at all. Because I am not sure that the Attorney General will give this kind of opinion, but it should be interesting to see his opinion. And secondly, to make the point that it is totally erroneous to come to the conclusion that MOUs are not agreements. I mean, this has been established, that it will depend on the provisions of an MOU. If they are binding provisions which occasion rights and obligation, the courts have held that it doesn't matter how you describe it. They will construe it as an agreement if it has the ingredients of an agreement. Thirdly, the Supreme Court went as far as categorizing MOUs as being part of the gamut of instruments pursuant to Article 75, which requires parliamentary ratification, and even went as far as saying mere exchange of note verbals, and note verbal simply means exchange of correspondence, will require parliamentary ratification if it imposes obligation on the Republic of Ghana. So with the greatest of respect to the Minister for Foreign Affairs, I think on this particular occasion he's flatly wrong. This MOU requires parliamentary ratification. There's absolutely no two ways about that. And I want to believe that the Attorney General himself will come to this kind of conclusion. And if he doesn't, it will be useful to see his opinion. The second question about the 11 deportees who have been further deported is just evidence it buttresses the point we are making and the call we are making, which is that if this MOU was laid before Parliament and scrutinized, I believe that certain safeguards would have been advocated on the floor of Parliament to ensure that we have the necessary framework in dealing with these situations. And then, of course, the issues of human rights which we raised. These persons who have been brought here, they've been brought here against their will. It's not that they want to come to Ghana. They've been deported against their wishes. And we all know the controversy surrounding the immigration policy of the United States today. So that really affects the position that we have taken. The absence of myself or my deputy at the United Nations, I was Deputy Chief of Staff from 2017 to 2021. I was Minister from 2021 to 2025. And on every occasion of anger, Minister Okudzeto Ablakwa was there as ranking. He was always in the chamber. I've been with him several times in the chamber when the president addresses the nation. The reason why the tradition has been established that the ranking should be at the UN General Assembly is because largely, when the president is on that stage, he's there for all of Ghana. And it's important that all of us, the various actors in the body politic of Ghana, are seen to be supporting the president. And all of us are lifting and holding the flag of Ghana, which is why Minister Okudzeto Ablakwa, when he was ranking, was consistently at UN General Assembly for 8 successive years. On the occasion when he has become Minister for Foreign Affairs, he has conveniently decided that none of us should be there. But why are we not there? You have to ask the minister, not me. The minister has to answer that question. Yeah, because my deputy was willing and eager to go and assist in raising the flag of Ghana, only for him to get to check-in counter and and he's denied access. But anyway, having spoken to the minister about this matter, so to be fair to him, I think we should hold our guns and have an occasion to have a conversation with him, and then we'll try and resolve this. Thank you.
All right. Yes. Prince, you want the opportunity from UTV. Is it UTV or UTV and Peace FM? UTV.
I think the current Attorney General was the Deputy Attorney General by then when this Banfu issue came up. And I think they referred to Article 75, which deals with the ratification of Parliament. So is it a case that this current government doesn't recognize the Constitution? Is that the case? Or let me borrow the earlier speaker's word. If they fail to do the ratification with a minority stage demonstration. Thank you.
Okay, we can do one more.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Please, your name and which station you?
The name is Christian SSN for the Insight and NR News, Natural Resources News. On the principle of non-alignment, you know, when you mentioned that, I was just smiling because 2 years ago, current Minister Blackwell sounded same as you sounded when President Akufo-Addo made a pronouncement. I mean, that sort of condemned Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And he mentioned the same thing that government must be seen to be following the principles of Nkrumah, the non-aligned status. And you are repeating same. And so what is wrong? Is it that when he sees you, you pick and choose when he sees you? And lastly, you mentioned these are, the president mentioned during his encounter with the media, these are African nationals. I mean, ECOWAS nationals. And so when they are stranded, Ghana, as hospitable as we are, we have to offer them a home. So why don't we look at it in that way rather than being too hard on ourselves? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Prince of UTV wants to know about whether the government is just so happy to breach provisions of our national constitution. I think the statement that I read here and the argument we've made is very clear. It's absolutely clear on the face of the provisions of the Constitution, and fortunately multiple cases have been determined by the Supreme Court where this matter is being laid to rest. And so why the government will just not follow the right procedure, I cannot hazard a guess, especially when the government has a supermajority in the House. So one doesn't know what is preventing the government from adhering to the provisions of the Constitution. And then my friend Christian from Natural Resource News is asking about non-alignment and the condemnation of the invasion of Ukraine by Russia and all of that. What the point we've made is one that we are consistent with, and it's one that we hold on to, which is that Ghana's foreign policy has always been motivated by non-alignment, and Ghana's foreign policy is over the years been a balanced approach, and therefore absolute declarations such as what is happening in Palestine is a genocide and the rest may risk aligning Ghana. I mean, we are not even getting to the business of whether it is or it is not. We are just talking about the extreme pronouncement. The jury is still out there whether the condemnation of Russia for invading Ukraine was extreme or not. I'm not too sure about that, but the jury is out there. But the policy of Ghana has always been non-aligned, and we think that the current declaration risks compromising that long-held foreign policy position of Ghana, which may have consequences on the national interests of our country. Then you asked about African nationals and hospitality. Again, that is not the gravamen of our argument at all. We are not getting to the merits or otherwise of accepting these deportees. Of course, the debate is still out there about whether or not Ghana should associate itself with the United States' policy on immigration. The African Union, for example, is taking a position on it. West African nations and ECOWAS has made pronouncements on it. European Union has made pronouncements on it. So whether or not Ghana should aid the United States in deporting Africans against their wishes is a debate that we can have. But the thrust of our argument is whatever conclusion we come to, we should follow the provisions of the Constitution. And I believe that if the government were to follow the provisions of the Constitution and lay this agreement before Parliament, we will all have the opportunity to have this debate on the floor of Parliament. So really, we are not really overly obsessed about whether we should accept them or not. But in accepting them, in whatever agreement we get into, the Constitution requires us to seek parliamentary ratification. That's what we are calling for. Thank you.
So I think that should be the end of my list of
Deputy
questions.
Ranking will be available to take.
Yes, but the most of the stations that would want to engage further on this can engage with the deputy ranking, and then maybe even if you have to invite him on your shows, I'm sure he'll be available to do so. But for now, we want to appreciate you very much. We are grateful for your time and for your platforms as well. So please stay and then let's discuss other parental matters.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There we go. So the rest in your mouth.
Thank you. You have to do the tree. Actually, I want to do the tree small. Yeah. Thank you, TV. Prince, I wanted the honorable member to do small tree. Where is Prince? Please, yeah, I'll share it.